and speak, I'll show the yellow card at 5 minutes and the red card at 6 minutes, indicating that they have 30 seconds to wrap up. For the 5 to 7 minute speeches, at 5 minutes, I will show the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card, and at 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. For the 10 to 12 minute speech, at 10 minutes, I'll show the green card, as I'm showing now. At 11 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 12 minutes, I'll show the red card. At the end of our speeches, I'll give a timekeeper's report, as well as give one during the general evaluation segment. For evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes long. At 2 minutes, I will give the green card. At 2 minutes 30, I'll give the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll give the red card. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much for that. We'll now move on to our next role player, and that is our grammarian and R counter. She's doing double duty.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. As grammarian for today's meeting, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any misuses of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day for today's meeting is perspicacious, meaning having a keen understanding or insight, mentally sharp or perspective. An example, her perspicacious analysis of the project risks helped the team avoid costly mistakes. Now proceeding to the I and am counter role. In this role, I will take note of words and sounds that are used as a crash or pause fillers by anyone who will be speaking. During the meeting, I'll listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, you know. I will also listen for filler words, including am, and I will note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, this means. At the end of the meeting, I'll report the number of times that each speaker used this expressions. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that. So clearly you have heard she is our language police for this evening. And the word of the day, even I'm struggling to say it, perspicacious. I'll practice it. So every person who comes to the virtual stage is encouraged to use that word. So we'll then move on to our next role player, and that is our hack master. And thank you so much, Benjamin, for taking up the role. So if you could please just tell us about the role this evening.
Yes, thank you, Leah. My role is as a hack master.
Hi, sorry, Benjamin. It seems like we didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm saying my main role is to test the listening skills. That's all they have. Because we're listening, so I'll ask questions at the end of the meeting. I find out if you're all.
All right, I think his volume is a little bit low, so I'll just repeat what his role is. So his role as the Heart Master is going to be listening to all the speeches that are happening this evening, and then at the appropriate time, he's going to carry out a quiz. So we are all supposed to be present, be here, listen well, so that we'll be able to respond with our responses when he comes in to ask the questions. So those are the people who will be helping me along the way. And with that, I think our first speaker has joined. I saw the speaker coming through. There we go. So we're now going to get into the first part of our meeting tonight. So our meeting will be divided into two parts. So the first part is the better speaking part. So these are people who have had maybe 1 to 2 weeks to prepare their speeches. And then afterwards, we're going to get into the better listening segment. So this is where they get feedback for the speeches that they presented. Here in Toastmasters, we want to make sure that you receive feedback immediately on what you have done so that you can improve in your follow-up speech. So our first speaker is Buntle Dixon, but before she comes to the virtual stage, I'd like to invite her evaluator, Benjamin Akimo Yeji. If you could please come and tell us what you will be looking out for in Buntle's speech this evening.
Thank you. So let me quickly grab her project. Good evening, everyone. My name is Benjamin Akimoije, and tonight I have the privilege of evaluating an icebreaker. As you all know, icebreaker is the first speech for the speaker is to start speaking. And tonight I'm going to be listening for the speaker's strength, where the speaker has potentials and areas where the speaker needs to improve. The speaker is supposed to introduce herself to us, and her speech is between 4 to 5 minutes, if I'm correct, 4 to 6 minutes, if I'm correct. And I hope she does justice to it. And this, as they always say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. All the best.
Thank you so much for that. And I'd just like to request, Buntle, if you could just unmute yourself, just so we can make sure your audio is fine. Good evening, Buntle.
Good evening, Miss Leah. How are you?
I'm all right. Okay, your audio is good and we can see you very well. So as stated, this is her first speech. So with the speech title, Becoming Buntle, you may take the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Miss Leah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Buntle Dixon, and this is the first time I'm ever saying a speech in front of people. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm hoping that I'm going to do well. So the title of my icebreaker today is Becoming Buntle. So I'm going to take you on a little journey of my life. So in the early stages of my life, I was definitely a girl on fire. I was bold enough to be the little tiny tot that I wanted to be. So anything that interested me or that caught my attention, I made sure that I would go out and seek out the opportunity and try to see if I can do it or not. So most of the time when I put myself in such positions, I never had a doubt in my mind that I was going to be the best. One day, my mother bought me a little sewing machine. It was blue and yellow. I happened to love blue, and she decided that she was going to get me a little sewing machine that had one of my favorite colors. From that day onwards, a little spark of a fashion designer was birthed in me. I started to make clothes, little tiny clothes for my dolls, until one day I decided that, what if instead of making little clothes for dolls, I could make clothes for me? So I spent hours and hours cutting up clothes, my old clothes, to make new ones. I would cut them up and sew them into a completely different design. So on a particular day, I remember I cut up my brand new skirt. It was pleated and pink. My mother still doesn't know that I cut it up into pieces, even up to this day. So I cut it up and I made a little cardigan and a shorter skirt from that whole long pleated skirt. I was really, really proud of the work that I had achieved with me and my little sewing machine. So I threw on my new outfit and I took a stroll down the street all the way to the tuck shop. So when I got to the tuck shop, a lady I had never met before looked at me and said, "Ugh, that is such a hideous outfit. Who do you think you are? And you are not so cute yourself." Oh man, it felt as if water was being poured down on the little flame that I had for fashion design. So I went home, I took off my new custom made outfit and I hid it somewhere my mother would never find. And from that day onwards, that interest that I had in fashion design was instantly extinguished, and I never wanted to play with my little sewing machine again. So I decided to become something different. Now, here's the interesting thing. I decided that I was going to be a tomboy. I started dressing up like a boy, acting like a boy, and even hanging out with the boys. So that seemed like an okay thing to do because with the boys, they just make jokes and they really didn't care about fashion. So I thought maybe I was too daring enough to try and think that I could become something with my little sewing machine. So that whole chapter of being a tomboy ended when I discovered pageantry. So I discovered pageantry and I decided, I am going to put on my cape of boldness and my excited hat, and I am going to seize this opportunity. So I went and joined a pageant in school. It was all fun and games until I received a few more interesting words that really broke me. So I decided to leave that space. And from then onwards, I started to look at myself as somebody who was not worthy to go after any opportunity that I could literally thrive and make it. I thought that I wasn't good enough. I thought that probably it wasn't meant for somebody like me. So I just retracted to being a TV girl, a little couch potato at the age of 11. So I enjoyed a particular show called Backyard Science. Now, Backyard Science was a program where kids would do science experiments, and it really was interesting to me, that interesting enough to birth a little mad scientist in me. So I decided to have a little backyard at the back of the house. My mother didn't know about it as well. So in that backyard, I would carry out many weird experiments. And when I say weird, I mean really weird. Because I recall an experiment where I went digging for earthworms. Poor earthworms. I extracted them from the soil and I put them in a little container. And I don't know why I decided to put different chemicals and different solutions of water, and I would take one, put inside, and then observe how they react to the solution. Most of them died because, of course, there was a chemical and water in it. So as I explored this sciencey side of me, I found it very interesting that one day after it rained, I discovered that there was little tadpoles growing in an abandoned container. I took them and I decided I was going to carry out the ultimate experiment. So I took the different tadpole, there are like 6 or 7, and I had a little notebook. I would come each day and I would record what I was seeing. Okay, so this one grew a little bigger. This one is much slower than the previous day. So this is how interested I was, because in me, I was going to be the greatest scientist the world has ever seen. And it seemed so possible, and I could touch it and I could taste it. And I could already see myself wearing that white lab coat, until my mother discovered my little secret lab, and she was horrified, because the little guys were really growing and they were starting to look a bit weird. I'm not even sure if they were supposed to be frogs or a different kind of species or whatsoever. I was going to find out if she had not killed them. So that dream of being a mad scientist continued, because I did pursue sciences and I was doing really, really well in sciences at school. Until when it came for me to come to varsity, I applied for a Bachelor of Science. And then I discovered that they did not admit me. And I just assumed that probably that wasn't meant for me. So I went on and I was stuck for a bit, and I was wondering what in the world I was going to do that I was finally going to be successful at. A failed little fashion designer, a failed little pageant girl, a failed little scientist, and now my dreams of officially being that scientist now put on hold because a university did not admit me. So I then decided, okay, let's not try anything new. Let's just be on a safe space. So for the longest time, I was so much into doing nothing. I would see things that would interest me, but I didn't have the guts to go after them. I was so insecure. I did not believe in myself, and I lacked the confidence. And I obviously didn't have enough left in me to stomach the disappointment that would come from trying to seize an opportunity only to get rejection. So I gave up on being that scientist, and I am currently on a different path, completely different from what I had thought I was going to become. I am now an accounting student at BAC. I am finding it interesting, and I decided, listen, we're not going to let this opportunity swing us by just because when we were moving through the stages of life, we met some disappointments, some nasty or uncomfortable words from people. It's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to become the you that you want to become. And you're going to look back and you're going to learn from every stage of your life, and everything that you think you failed to do, you are going to get up and build a stronger wall. So I decided that I was going to become me. And today, as I am here, I am happy to say that though there are so many challenges as an accounting student, I am so adamant on becoming Wentle, a chartered accountant. Thank you.
Let's give Buntle a big hand. I know I played that. Let's give Buntle a big hand. Woo, 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 woo. Well done, Buntle. Definitely interested in becoming. Very interesting. Yeah. We'll then move on to our next speaker, and that is Asala Pili. Hope I've said it nicely. And before she comes to the virtual stage, I'd like to invite our evaluator, Ritabile, if you could please come to the virtual stage and tell us about Asala Pili's speech objectives. Yeah, muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our fellow guests. Tonight, I have the privilege of evaluating Asalepele Banda, who will be delivering their icebreaker. So, the purpose of Asalepele's speech is for them to introduce themselves to the club and just learn the basic structure of the speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much. So with the speech title, A Snapshot of Asalapili, you may take the virtual stage.
Thank you, Leah. So after that speech, I feel like mine is a bit boring. I feel like I was like preparing for an interview or something. But anyway, let me just give it a shot. So, hi everybody. My name is Asalipela Banda. I was born in Francistown and I grew up in Francistown. Basically, from birth up to high school, I stayed in Francistown. And I was raised by my mother, and I stayed with her and my brother. I later moved to Gaborone in 2008 for university at the University of Botswana. So I was there for 2 years, and then I later moved on overseas to do my degree in veterinary medicine. I graduated in 2015, and in 2016 I started work. So from 2016 up to now, I've held quite multiple roles. So veterinary medicine is quite diverse. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, so veterinary medicine is quite diverse. There's wildlife, there's public health, you can work in a lab, there's pharmaceutical. So basically for the past 9 years, I've jumped all around most of these niches. So I'm quite experienced. So I've worked in these multiple roles, both locally and internationally. And currently I work for Botswana Agricultural Marketing Board as a veterinary manager. So at Botswana Agricultural Marketing Board, we've got 39 stores that sell veterinary products. So I'm really there for the compliance or the regulatory side of it, just basically to make sure that farmers buy the right product and they use it correctly so that it does not end up in your plate. Because we don't want to have residues that you and I are going to eat and can potentially have some devastating consequences for both you and I. So by age 13, I pretty much knew that I was going to become a veterinarian. But then at that time, it was more, I envisioned it as attending to sick animals and treating animals. But now, for me, it has literally shifted from one animal to a population. So I'm more interested in the public health aspect of it, where now I'm concerned about the protection of the people, because we and the animals coexist. We live in the same environment, so we can easily transmit diseases between ourselves, between us and the animals. So therefore, in developing countries such as ours, our policies are a bit lax about that. So it is, I mean, there is a lot of possibility for us to pick up diseases from animals and vice versa. So it is something that I'm very passionate about, and I see myself doing that for the rest of my career. So if I'm not at work, or if I'm not preaching to people not to eat, not to buy meat from somebody whose farm they've never been to, or to eat meat that they don't know where it's coming from. If I'm not doing that, I'm basically at home just chilling. I could say I'm more of a homebody. And I actually love learning. So it's either I'm reading something new, listening to a podcast, or just audiobooks. Because I have a 45 minutes commute in the morning and in the evening. Most of the times I listen to audiobooks. And if I'm like in a in a good mood, I could even like listen to one audiobook in a week. So if I'm not doing that, I'm also a very athletic person. I don't go to a gym, or I'm not even in any running club, but multiple times a week, I do make sure that I do work out. So I'm a very active person. So it's also a bonding time for me and my kids. So because they're very active as well. So every day we would exercise together, or actually they'll come and just disturb my workout. So we end up just doing the whole thing together. So yeah, I mean, it's good bonding time with the kids. So yeah, I am a married woman and we've got 3 kids. So why did I join Toastmasters? Looking back, I think all the roles that I've held, honestly, there was some bit of leadership in there, but I've kind of always been able to avoid some things. Like I would avoid having to do that Kotla meeting. But it's gotten to a point where I feel like, nah, I need to address this. I need to make sure that I improve my public speaking skills. I need to be confident about it. And so here I am. Hopefully I'm going to learn a lot and I'm going to improve in that aspect. So thank you.
Let's unmute and give Asalapili a big hand. Thank you so much for that, Salapili. Definitely introducing yourself to us, another new person who joined our club. We'll now move on to our third speaker, and that is Tapiwa. And I know Tapiwa was here earlier. So Tapiwa, if you could just switch on your camera. Good evening, Tapiwa.
Good. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day.
I
Toastmaster.
don't.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, I see. Okay, it's a different Tapiwa. All right, there, now I see you. All right, so I will be evaluating Tapiwa. So she is presenting from the project, Write a Speech with Purpose. So what I'll be looking out for is the purpose of this project is to learn or review the basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. So with the speech title, Essence of Personal Growth, Tapiwa, you may take the virtual stage.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. It is a privilege to come and highlight to you that each and every one of us have great power, great potential, and the ability to think and to do exceedingly more than what we could ever think, or we could think we can be able to do. Oren said, Marin said, there are powers inside you. If you could discover and use, would make you do things you never imagined or even dreamed of. You could become. So, ladies and gentlemen, start believing now. Start believing today. Let us be vigilant and perspicacious in our personal growth. The essence of personal growth is that process of personal development, that process of improving ourselves step by step. Note, it is not a one-time off activity, because personal growth, it takes you from one step to another step in either your career, your relationship development, or in how you give back to the community. The essence of personal growth, we all get it from the creator of heaven, the creator of you, my creator. He has put that believing in us, that essence, that spirit, that core of wanting to be a better person. Let me ask you a question. Why are you here at this time? Why are you engaged in this virtual meeting at this moment? You could be doing something, but because of the essence, the desire to grow, to develop, to have a fulfilling life, a satisfactory life, we are all here in the process of becoming better people, and the process of developing ourselves, and the process of improving who we were yesterday, who we are today, and who we want to be tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, personal growth is a gemstone, highly valuable part of a career or life in general. So, what are the tips of exploring, enjoying, and having personal growth? One, for you to explore and to have that personal growth, you need to have written goals. And if you have written goals, you need to review them on certain schedules. That is, you should have a personal development plan for you to track those goals and the progress that you are going through. Two, you need to embrace the present. Embrace the challenges that is happening right now. Embrace the positiveness of your life. Embrace your passion. And that will help you to be able to experience this essence of personal growth. Three, be humble. This is a personality. Humility is a personality that helps us to reach out the inner piece of us, to explore the inner blessings, the inner input, the inner power, the inner essence, the core, the heart of why we are here in this world. And four, hold yourself accountable in this journey. And five, the last one, make it a habit to learn. As Nelson Mandela was said, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to turn and change things around the world. So make it a habit to learn, to educate yourself, because it's improving your knowledge, improving your skills, improving your capability, and becoming more perspicacious in different fields, different aspects of your life. No one would like to be left the same without change. I, for one, I wouldn't want to remain the same. That's why I'm here learning to improve my public speaking, to improve my communication skills, and to improve my leadership skills. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may ask you right now, personally, what does personal development, personal growth, personal improvement mean to you? Please, in your deep thoughts right now, answer that yourself and reflect on what exactly personal growth means to you individually, in terms of your career, in terms of your relationships, in terms of the community that you're living in your family. Personal growth, it has at least 5 areas, which is emotional growth, physical growth, social growth, intellectual growth, physical growth. So let us make it a habit to develop ourselves holistically in all these different areas. Because if you develop emotionally, you'll be able to control and manage stress levels. If you grow intellectually, you prosper, learn new skills, and the sky will be your limit. As I come to conclusion, I would like to challenge each and every one of us, including myself, to embrace in this journey that leads to building self-confidence. This journey that empowers me, that journey that empowers you. Let us embrace this journey, which improves how we set our goals, our life goals, our career goals, all these different goals. And in conclusion, remember, patience is the key to personal growth. A jar can be filled with a drip of water, or water that drips. It can fill the jar. So, ladies and gentlemen, personal growth is a steady process, step by step, step by step. So let's keep going, keep pushing to become the better, amazing version of yourself, to live a more satisfactory life with a better quality of life. It's all upon your hands to take that responsibility. One best thing you can do for yourself is to focus on your personal growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tapua, for that. And if you could unmute ourselves and give her a big hand. Woo, woo, woo.
Wow.
How's that? We'll then move on to our next speaker. And our next speaker will be Matidiso. as I've seen a note from Hasina on the chat. So Matidiso is being evaluated by myself. Matidiso, I just want to, oh, right, your camera is on. So Matidiso is presenting from the project Effective Body Language. So that is a level 2 project. And the purpose of her speech is, let me just check the evaluation. The purpose of the project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how she uses nonverbal communication when delivering her speech. So with the speech title, Giving Up is Not an Option, Giving Up is Not an Option, Matidiso.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Have you ever walked out of an interview feeling like the world could just swallow you? That sinking feeling that you didn't perform as well as you had hoped. Well, I've been there. As the new year begins, many of us aspire to start afresh at a new job, at a new environment, or just new opportunities. But sometimes things don't materialize as quickly as we expect, and that can be very frustrating. Today, I want to share my journey as a job seeker from being a junior accountant to where I am now. I began my career in 2006 as a temporary accounts officer after completing my AAT qualification, and then became a permanent employee in 2008. I was based in Lobatse at the time. And in 2010, I was then transferred to Gaborone. I guess you can just tell my age by now. When I got to Gaborone, I discovered that many of my former classmates from our class were well on to their way to becoming chartered accountants. I felt like a failure. Questions flooded my mind, like, where have I been? What have I been doing? In a rush to catch up, I hastily enrolled in further studies. But because I wasn't fully into it, I wasn't truly invested, I ended up wasting money and time because I lacked the focus and the commitment required to complete. But then as the years went by, I yearned for growth. I needed to grow in my profession. And the challenge with working with these large organizations is that you can find yourself stuck in one section for years without learning the full scope of your profession. I spent close to a decade in credit control. I felt stagnant and frustrated. And despite requesting a transfer to a different section, my request was denied. Meanwhile, I made progress with my studies and became a part qualified accountant. I still had this feeling that I need to advance in my career. So I started applying for jobs. I needed to move because I felt stagnant and also I wasn't progressing. So I remember at the time my office was filled with stacks of newspaper clippings of job adverts. And each advert was a reminder of my perseverance. And in 2015, I finally started to get interview calls. I would get 5 interviews in a single year. And despite all these interviews that I attended, no offer letter came. And my frustration grew with every interview that I went to. And out of all those interviews that I attended, only one company provided feedback, which was very constructive feedback, by the way. It truly warmed my heart and gave me hope that my breakthrough was near. Then in 2016, as my employer at the time was now undergoing restructuring, an opportunity for a new job came. I transitioned to a new environment, which was both exciting and daunting since my experience has only been limited to debtors at the time. Thankfully, I joined a very welcoming team and I had to hit the ground running because I remember I joined them during the beginning of the external audit. I took on the responsibility of now supervising 4 accounts officers in head office and 16 across the various branches in the country. It was very challenging. Second year into the company, they were now undergoing restructuring. By God's grace, I survived that restructuring. Third year in, I now started to feel drained. My work life was non-existent. I worked long hours going into wee hours of the morning. My son will be asleep by the time I leave home, and he will be asleep by the time I get home. I was missing out on raising him. Though I was very grateful for the experience, I was emotionally and physically exhausted, and I knew I needed a change of environment. I then made a perspicacious decision to enlist the services of a mentor who would help me revamp my CV and also coach me for interviews. And that was the best decision I made for myself. And that decision transformed my career. My next interview was a success as I emerged as the best candidate. And a year later, I moved into a more senior role. I had regained my confidence and also managed to complete my studies and became a chartered accountant. So looking back on those struggles, I realized that every struggle, every challenge was preparing me for where I am now. So if there's one thing that I learned is that God's timing is always perfect. And it's important for us to have a clear goal and purpose. We don't have to just drift through life in order to get to where we want to be. I wish I had known this earlier, but hey, it's never too late. And today I would say I'm in a better place mentally and otherwise. And I'm grateful that I never gave up on myself. Even though I'm experiencing my third restructuring with my current employer, I'm not complaining. I believe we serve a miracle working God. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you could all just unmute and give Matitiso a nice big hands of applause. Woo, woo. All right. Thank you so much, Matitiso, for that. So I see Hasina is back on the call. And before she comes to present her speech, I would like to invite her evaluator, who's our timekeeper, Dumelo, if you could please give us the speech objectives of Hasina's speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani as she pursues the presentation mastery pathway. She today will be doing a project called evaluation and feedback, where she can present on any topic, receive feedback, and apply it. This will be the first speech because this particular project requires you give the speech twice. With that said, I'd like to invite Hasina onto the stage with a speech titled From Panic to Progress. From Panic to Progress, Toastmaster Hasina Hamdani.
Hasina, you may take the virtual stage.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and the distinguished guest. When I first joined Toastmaster, I had the dream of becoming a captivating speaker, the kind who delivers strong, profound speeches that audience left inspired. But I evolved into a queen of awkward pauses. But hey, progress is progress, right? So my first icebreaker speech, it was unforgettable. Not because of its brilliance, but because I forgot my own name. I stood, mouth open, and my brain is buffering. My spirit quietly exited out of my building. And the feedback I received, great job, you didn't faint. High praise, right? What a confident booster. Then the table topic came. It's a fun little segment where we have to think fast and speak faster. The question was asked, if you could be any animal, what would you be? I said, sloth. The table master looked at me, intrigued. I realized I have to give the answer why. Naturally, I panicked and I said, because sloth do not have to give speech. Audience laughed. At first, I thought they are laughing with me. But no, they were laughing at me, not with me. And then here comes the timer. Timer and I, we have a special bond. While I pretend that they are not exist, the timer, they will flash angry red card at me in turn. Green means go, yellow means panic, and red means sit down. Now you are embarrassing yourself. Once I ignored the timer so long that he gave up and started playing a sad piano music. Hmm. The lesson learned, if you ignore the timer for very long, they will find out the way out to keep your mouth shut. And how can I forget my evaluators? They deliver their favorite compliment sandwich. First, they will say, your voice is beautiful. And then the actual thing comes. But your speech content lacked structure. Your eye contact was not even existent. We are even figuring out now what was the topic. And then, don't worry, they will come up with an encouraging note. Well done, keep it up. Wow. And then I admire my grammarian. They have that perspicacious eye for the detail. They are our knowledgeable, noble guardian of the language. Once the grammarian told a speaker, don't say very curious. You can't say very pregnant. You either are or you aren't. That night, I Googled all those words that do not need very. Turns out to be hundreds of these. Very perfect, very freezing, very unique. I was terrified and I decided not to use very at all. And now the our counter. They are sitting at one place silently with a polite smile and counting all the R's, and filling words. And even they will sometimes fill the margins of it. Once I gave the speech, I thought I did a great job. The speaker stood up and said, congratulations, you have broke the record. You have used 27 filler words within 5 minutes of speech. I said, thank you. I will frame it. So the good thing is that I have improved. Now I can say, hello, how are you, without even needing a defibrillator. And last week, I even used my hand gesture, and it didn't look like I am sweating at the flies. So despite the journey of and panic attacks, it has been amazing. And I have learned that public speaking is not the perfection. It is about laughing at yourself, embracing the awkwardness, and improving one embarrassment at one time. Those who are newcomers here, they have joined the Toastmaster now. I welcome them. And those who were there before me, thank you for witnessing my transformation from a panicked speaker to slightly less panicked speaker. And the judges, laughter counts as points. Remember that. So I want to say one disclaimer that all the events were not true. They were exaggerated. But let's be honest, isn't it? We all want to be a sloth at table topic segment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hasina, for that. Yes, we all want to be slots. So let's give her a big round of applause as I... All right. Thank you so much, Hasina, for that. We'll then move on to our final speaker, Ritabile, who is doing a level 5 project. As I said at the beginning in Toastmasters, when you start and whatever pathway that you're doing, there are 5 levels that we go through. So she has finally reached that level. Not only has she reached it, she's now on the last speech where she is reflecting on her pathway. So I'd like to invite her evaluator, Happiness, to please come to the virtual stage and give us the speech objectives of Ritabile's speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. I will be evaluating Ritabile Siso. She will be doing presentation mastery, level 5, and the speech length is 10 to 12 minutes. And the name of the speech is Finding My Voice, the Toastmasters Journey. And the purpose of the speech is for the speaker to share some aspect of her journey on completing of this path. So, Ritabile Siso, Finding My Voice, the Toastmasters Journey, the Toastmasters Journey, Finding My Voice, Ritabile Siso.
All right. So Ritabile, you can unmute yourself. You have already been introduced. You may take the virtual stage.
Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Please let me know if you are able to. Am I audible? Because I'm using 2 gadgets at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, very much audible.
Right. The year 2020. For me, a year to always remember. That's where everything started. 2019, I changed company and joined a new one. And when I joined, my leadership, because I joined a technical department, I'm a geotechnical engineer. So because I was new to the process, we were tasked to each read a topic in a book called Large Open Pit Guidelines. This is a book that guides us in the process of mining, data collection, how you design, how to monitor, and just that loop. So I had to prepare a presentation to demonstrate my understanding on that particular topic and how it links us to other processes. And also to cultivate that culture of presentations. Guess what happened? It was a disaster. I'm laughing about it because it is a moment in my life to remember, because I'm here now. I can speak. During the presentation, honored tables, there sits my leadership, head of department, my manager, my teammates. When I looked there, I was the only one who's standing up. Everybody looking at me. I was on the podium. I couldn't even face them. My eyes just on my presentation. When I realized that I'm not even delivering this presentation to these people, two things came into my mind. There was a door on my right, just in front, and there was my chair. I couldn't announce that I'm not able to deliver that presentation. No. The second one was, maybe I could ask to go to the bathroom. I was just staying in my head so that I could just go breathe. But this also was not an option, because straight away they are going to see that no. And imagine, I just joined the company. I felt like I failed that time to demonstrate that I'm ready to join the team. After that day, I remember that a friend of mine during the university days was a Toastmaster. I went to Facebook. I remember Toastmaster. I went to Facebook. I searched. That's me, Toastmasters. Gaborone Toastmasters. I think about 4 months, I browsed internet about Toastmasters. I watched the videos. But unfortunately, I couldn't even do what people were doing on YouTube. Then, I need to join Toastmasters. I need to join Toastmasters. That was me for 4 months. I need to join Toastmasters. And finally, 2021, I became a member. I wouldn't say it was an easy journey. It was it was a challenging journey for me. Why? 2021, halfway, I went on a longer leave. I went on a maternity leave. So you can imagine that I need to take a break from everything and relax, give attention to the young one. When I came back in 2022, when I get to work, I found out that my supervisor, my immediate one, she needs to go on leave. Our senior geotechnical engineer has joined another company. And the Miena Retabile was just from shift work before they went to maternity leave. Now I'm taking over 3 roles: my role, my immediate supervisor, my senior engineer's role. Now I report directly to the manager. That was me now having to converse with our head of department, other stakeholders from mining. And also, I was given another role, another portfolio.
As much as a geotechnical engineer for rock mechanics, I also have passion for tailings or soil mechanics. So in them trying to balance between rock mechanics and soil mechanics, then they said, okay, fine. Why don't you just work with the other team for soil mechanics, that is the ore processing team? You could imagine, I was new from shifts, nothing about management, nothing about leadership, nothing about supervising people, and I had a team of professionals that I had to supervise. Ooh. Yeah, it was that hard. Every time when I get to work, it's just so heavy. I would just sit on my chair at home and not do anything. One thing rescued me though, Toastmasters. And I'll pledge to myself, when I get home, I'm not going to do any work. I'm going to be attending Toastmasters meetings. 2022, I think I visited most clubs. I went out there, attended meetings, I took up roles. And that was a way of me learning. Because as much as I was swamped with work, and most of the time I couldn't even deliver my projects because I had to prepare. But one of the things that came easier was if I could just go and sit in a meeting, take up a role, be an accountant, be a timer, evaluate. I'm still learning. Fellow Toastmasters, let me tell you about one of my proudest moments. I'll take 2 of them. There is a project or a Toastmaster. Being a Toastmaster on its own, I would say it's a project. Because in other pathways, you need to be a Toastmaster, that is being a facilitator. One day at work, there was a need for a facilitator. Every quarter, the general manager for the mine conducts visits where he visits departments just to check on how employees are doing. It was time for our department. And when the HOD said, we need a facilitator for GM's engagement, I looked at the email. I said, this is a good opportunity. I'm going to took Toastmasters of the Day 1, but I need to complete this because sometimes I don't go to meetings. So I need to take this. And it's good that it's a physical engagement. That was me on email. I'm available. You know what I did after that? Because of the anxiety, I just took a role, just hasty like that. I closed my Outlook. I switched off Wi-Fi on my phone because I have email on my phone. Then I just sat there. Let my anxiety sink in at first. And when he replied that, yes, thank you, I knew that I'm okay. Being a facilitator that day, it was me through Toastmasters, because that day I was able to conduct a question and answer session. I was able to time individuals when they were answering questions in the EXCO committee day. I was able to time them. I was able to give other employees some time, limited time, so that I managed the overall running of that meeting. For me, it was a success. When my managers told me that they never thought I would facilitate such an engagement, it was me saying thanks to Toastmasters. I felt like dancing. That time, like, is anybody seeing me? Because I was happy. One of the difficult projects again that I dealt with was dealing with a difficult audience. At work last year, there is what we call the Geotechnical Review Board. This is where a board sits and they evaluate what we do according to our standards that are governing us technically. They come from abroad, others are appointed by TBS. And during my presentation, you can imagine the tension in that room. We are dealing with technical experts. We are dealing with another employee from a different department who's trying to comment on something that I'm not aware of and they want to understand. And I was wondering, how do I do this thing? Others are talking besides. At that time, I remembered Toastmasters. I had this project. I was taught how to stay calm. I was taught how to take control of the meeting because of Toastmasters. And I found my voice through Toastmasters. Because of who? Because of people who are letting you be yourself and complete your project. Because Toastmasters members, we're a family. We show up for each other. If you do not complete your project, show up for someone, because someone there as part of your family is delivering their project. When you are ready to deliver your project, they will show up for you so that you can do what? You will find your voice. Am I done? No. I think I'm just increasing my volume and Toastmasters and this skill that I'm cultivating. To you, you're still thinking about it, join Toastmasters, be there for others, be intentional about it. They will be there for you so that you can complete your projects. I'm on level 5. I've completed my pathway because of you. Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you so much. Let's give Retabile a round of applause. Woo, woo, woo. Well done. Well done. Well done. Completing your pathway. Those are our 6 speakers for the evening, all ranging from people just starting their Toastmasters journey, taking that first step filled with all the nerves, to the ones who are in the middle, and to someone who is right at the end completing their project, their pathway. Sorry. So I'd like to invite the timer and ask if they could just give us the timing for our speeches.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. One moment, I've covered my camera. But yes, as far as timing went, our prepared speakers, we had 2 icebreakers. That was Buntle Dixon and Asalepele Banda, who were to speak for 46 minutes. Buntle spoke for 10 minutes, 27 seconds. Asalepele spoke for 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Tapiwa, Hasina, and Matsidiso were 5 to 7 minute speakers. So Tapiwa spoke for 11 minutes, 8 seconds. Hasina spoke for 6 minutes, 43 seconds. Matsidiso spoke for 6 minutes, 50 seconds. Retabile gave a path reflection where she was to speak for 10 to 12 minutes. She spoke for 12 minutes, 54 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much for those times. And I must say, I think for our icebreaker speeches, I'm seeing that they clearly are people who are eager to speak. So that is a really good, good effort by our icebreaker speeches. So next time when you have to give an extended speech, like what Retabile was doing, I'm sure it will be a piece of cake. So well done to our speakers today. We'll then move on to our Hack Master session with Benjamin, who stepped in right at the last minute. So Benjamin, if you could please come and ask us questions to test how well we were listening in our meeting today.
Thank you. My please. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, we can
Hi.
hear you. Yeah.
Hello, Leah, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we start?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, the first question, what was the color of Bundler's sewing machine?
Blue and yellow.
Yes, blue and yellow. What was Bundler's initial interest?
To be a designer.
Yes, to be a fashion designer. After failing to be a fashion designer, Bundler became a
mad scientist.
A mad scientist.
no, he became a tomboy.
Yes,
Oh.
Because of the way that she
Is that a thing to
what was her
become?
secondary?
tomboy, yeah.
What was Bundler's secondary interest?
Mad scientist?
No, pageantry.
Pageantry.
Yes, pageantry. Okay. What is Bundler now?
Accountant.
Yes, accountant. Where was Asalipili born?
Francis Town.
France.
Yes, and what did Asalipili study?
Veterinary.
Veterinary medicine.
Yes, veterinary medicine. Where is she working now?
Botswana Agricultural.
Yeah,
Bam.
yes.
Okay.
What does Asalipili do at her leisure time?
Audiobooks.
Family.
She stays indoors and reads.
With family.
Podcast and audiobooks. How many kids does Asalipili have?
Three.
Three kids.
Oh, yes, three. What's the title of the peer speech?
Essence of a personal growth.
Yes. Where do we get the essence of personal growth from?
Personal development.
No, from the creator. What 5 tips did Asalipili give on essence of personal growth?
Written goals.
Yes,
Never
written
stop
goals.
learning.
Patience.
Be humble.
Yes, be
Hold
humble.
yourself accountable.
Yes.
Oh yeah, accountable.
Have a habit to learn.
Yes.
Don't be left behind when it comes to improving yourself.
You're right. When did Matsidi Satamaki start her job?
2006.
Pardon?
Yes, 2006. She spent a decade in which department?
Credit control.
Credit control.
Control.
Yes, credit control. What is Matsidi Satamaki now?
Her boss.
She's a chartered accountant.
The chartered accountant.
The chartered accountant.
The chartered. Hasina Mdina, what was her dream for after joining Toastmasters?
To be
Give a speech
To become a captivating speaker.
yes.
Yes. According to us, Hasina, what does red mean?
Sit down, you're embarrassing yourself.
Yes, sit down, you're embarrassing. Hasina moved from a panic speaker to a
Less panic speaker.
to a slightly less panic speaker. Okay, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
What is Retabile Caesar's job?
technical engineer.
Yes, geotechnical engineer. When did she start her job?
2022. 2020.
2019.
2020.
2019. COVID.
2019. Just before COVID. When did she join Toastmasters?
2020. 2021. 2021.
How many jobs did Matshidiso find herself doing after maternity?
3.
Yeah,
And
3. She
doing
did
3 jobs.
She did her job, supervisor's job, and her senior manager's job. How did Toastmasters assist Retabile Siso?
To
She
become a
became a
better
facilitator at
facilitator.
work.
Yeah, she became a better facilitator at work. No, thank you guys. You're truly listening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Benjamin, for that. Yes, people were truly listening, like listing those 5 things. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, I saw you responding.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, that was amazing.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Since you were all listening really well, so I'm now going to run the poll for our best effort speaker for you to vote. So as the poll is running, you'll see something pop up on your screen so you can vote for our best effort speaker. And at this point, I would like to invite our general evaluator to come and run the general evaluation session as you are voting on the best effort speaker poll. So I'd like to invite Happiness. If you could please come to the virtual stage to run the general evaluation session. Happiness? Oh, there we go.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Today, as the general evaluator, I've got 2 roles or things that I should be doing is to evaluate the general meeting as a whole, and then I will give my evaluation towards the end. And the second role is to introduce our evaluators who have been evaluating today's speeches. Without wasting time, I would like to call upon our first evaluator, Benjamin Akinmoyege. Over to you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Pontley, can you hear me or do I have to turn off my camera? If you can hear me clearly, then that's fine.
I can hear
Wow,
you.
that was a speech well delivered. So I took my time to jot down your evaluation. So I'm going to go for it. Your use of story was very effective and beautiful. I personally like the fact that your perspectives transitions were attractive. You move from the first thing you were was a designer, and then you moved to a tomboy, then you got to become a mad scientist. Those were all amazing transitions that you did. I really also like the fact that you used words colorfully in your speech, such as, oh, poor earthworms. You also used words like a girl on fire, a little flame I have. All of these made your speech very attractive. What would I want you to improve upon? I would like you to be conscious of time, because that's very important. To be aware how much time you have to deliver. That will make you respect your audience. Also, I also want to encourage you to never apologize. As a Toastmasters, once you're on stage, you own it. You do whatever you like. The audience have no choice than to listen and enjoy your delivery. What would I want you to improve upon, and what would I want you to challenge yourself with? I'd like you to continue speaking because you already have all that is required. Also, I would like you to make more eye contact. You're already confident, but make more eye contact and dramatize some of the things you talk about. You know, you did an amazing job because you were so confident and calm, and your speech was very clear. And I get to know you very well, that I know that you hide things from your mom. It was a good job you did. Excellent performance. Well done. Continue to grow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. Our next evaluator will be Retabile Siso. Please come on the virtual podium for your evaluation.
Thank you, Madam General. Yes, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Tonight, fellow Toastmasters, I would like you to unmute, please, just for a minute. Unmute. Because Asapele took a step, the first one, the most important one, by joining Toastmasters and delivering their first speech. Come on, let's welcome Asapele and congratulate her for that well delivered. Thank you very much. To Asapele, congratulations on delivering that first speech. For us to know who Asapele is, you were very clear. We now know who's Asapele. Asapele from Francistown, who has been born and raised by her mom and has a brother. You moved from Gaborone, you moved from Francistown to Gaborone. You studied OUB, went overseas. You studied medicine. We know that Asapele is married with 3 kids. We know that you like audiobooks, athletic person, you know. So we know now who Asapele is, and thank you very much for sharing us who you are, because that was the objective of your speech. And in the process, you told us why. Why did you join Toastmasters? And it's very important for you to know why you are here and for us to know why you are in Toastmasters, so that we are able to assist you satisfy those objectives. You were very clear in the English language, very clear, and that was very amazing. 2 things that I would want you to challenge and improve on. I realized that your camera position was not very clear, because you only seen like how I'm standing, as low as this. So in that way, in Toastmasters, we would like to evaluate your body language, standing up, so that we can evaluate your body language, your gestures, and all the like. So challenge yourself to take your phone, place it as you're taking a video, or rehearse. When you rehearse, because to prepare your speech, as the timer said, we went beyond time. So when you position your camera and practice and practice and practice, you will find the best spots of how you can position yourself on that gadget that you'll be using. So next time, let's challenge ourselves, practice our speech, be mindful of time, and practice and practice and practice and practice. Thank you. Back to you.
Yeah, muted.
Our next evaluator was supposed to be Lamia, but Leia wear another hat today. Over to you, Leia.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. So I was evaluating Tapiwa, and hope she's still on the call. So in terms of, I'll try and give my evaluation in terms of what you did well, and then what you may want to work on. I'll try and give 2 items on what you might want to work on. So I must say, congratulations, Tapiwa, definitely on delivering your second speech. I liked the fact that you gave us an informative speech. You were telling us about how we should know the essence of personal growth. You even started off by asking us a question, why are you here? I liked that fact because it helps you to then engage the audience when you ask a question, because it gives them an opportunity to also think about what it is that you are saying. It was great that you gave your speech in a standing positions because it allowed us to then see your gestures. There were points where you would, take a step forward, back to emphasize a certain word or phrase that you were using, or even leaning closer and pointing to emphasize that. So that was great because that is adding great body movement to enhance your speech. And you definitely gave us a lot of information. There were 4 tips, other things that you gave us for us to think about in terms of ourselves and our personal growth. I liked also that at the end, you asked another question. What does personal growth mean to you? Another way to engage your audience. So that was really well done. So one item that I noticed that you may want to work on is that I noticed that when you were coming towards the end of your speech, you said the phrase "in conclusion" 3 times. So initially when you said it, we thought, okay, she's wrapping up her speech, it must be ending, but then you went on to speak again, and then you said "in conclusion" again, and then you said "in conclusion" again. The minute you say the words "in conclusion," that's an indication that you are wrapping up your speech. It's not an opportunity for you to then start a different aspect of your speech, because conclusion means this is the wrap up. You're now summarizing everything that you have said. So be mindful with that in terms of how you conclude your speech. And then also the length of your speech, you exceeded the time that you were given. It was supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes. So always make sure that when you do present your speech, that you present it within the specific time limit. This is an environment where we're being taught how to stick to time, so that even when you go out of the Toastmasters environment and someone gives you an opportunity to speak to for 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, you'll do within that specific time frame. So I'm sure as you continue on your Toastmasters journey, this is something you will definitely work on to improve. Other than that, well done in the presentation of your speech. I'm sure we all learned a lot. So just be mindful of the conclusion and how long you spend on your time, and looking forward to your future speeches. Back to you,
Thank you very
Madam
much. Thank you very
General,
much, Leah.
Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Leah. And the next evaluator is Melo. Melo, please come to the virtual podium for your evaluation.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Tonight, I had the pleasure of evaluating Hasina Hamdani, and as usual, it's always a pleasure to hear her speak. She gave a speech titled "From Panic to Progress." Sorry about that, I'm timing myself. But now I'm suddenly wary of my evaluation because she gave what I thought was a personal account of her journey in Toastmasters, from icebreaker to table topics and even informing of all other roles. She spoke of panic. We've all been there. And when she spoke of the timing cards and being timer tonight, I was very self-conscious about what I was doing. Is that what I'm doing to you with these cards? Anyway, for the benefit of this evaluation, my evaluation will take this format. 3 things you did well, 2 things you may want to work on, and 1 way to challenge yourself. First and foremost, well done, Hasina Hamdani, on writing a beautiful speech. It is without a doubt that you write great speeches. You wrote a speech that was humorous as well as informational, because it gave anyone who's new at Toastmasters what exactly happens during a meeting, because you explained all the roles very well. Your speech was clear. I think we could hear you well, and you delivered it standing up, meaning we could appreciate your body language. And we noted, or I noticed, that you used intentional body language during your speech. You moved at times from side to side, you even paced forward at one point, you held your chest, you used hand gestures, to which we all appreciated. However, 2 things you may want to work on. For me, I noticed that in terms of vocal variety, you didn't take advantage of how you can use your tool as a voice, your voice as a tool to vary your speech throughout. That is in terms of tone, pitch, volume, and speed. At most times, your voice was quite monotonous, and I noticed at times I would take long to realize this is a joke, because Hasina didn't exactly show in a change in pitch or tone. So this is one way you can level up your speeches. How can you do this? You used many speech quotations during your speech. This was an opportunity to take advantage of that, playing with your pitch, your tone, your volume, and your speed. So one way to challenge yourself, Hasina, I would advise that you record yourself. Just open your recorder on your phone, say your speech, and hear exactly what I'm talking about, or take into account how your voice sounds throughout the speech. This will help you realize how you sound, because as we deliver our speeches, we don't quite hear ourselves. I've been told that your voice sounds different to you because of you hear it through the echo of your head. So try and record yourself, see how that works for you, and see the areas where you can incorporate vocal variety. In summary, the 3 things you did well: your speech was clear, well written, it was humorous and informational, and you used intentional body language. 2 ways to work, or 2 things to work on, is vocal variety and leveraging on speech quotations. 1 way to challenge yourself: just record yourself, give it a try, you'll give me feedback. Once again, congratulations, Hasina, on delivering that well-written speech. I look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Timelo. Our next evaluator, I would like to call upon Leah again on the virtual platform. Back to you, Leah.
Yes, I'm back again, and I was evaluating Matidiso, who was giving the level 2 effective body language speech. So I'll start off by just saying what I thought you did well, and then I'll also share in terms of what I thought you might want to work on. So in terms of your presentation this evening, Matidiso, I like the fact that you gave us an inspirational speech. Giving up is not an option. And it was great that you shared a personal story, and we were able to follow along with you how you faced obstacles, but you never gave up until where you find yourself in your position right now. Even though there were parts, like when you said you had been in a position for 10 years, you never gave up. You kept on moving forward, so to ensure that you achieved the goal and dream that you wanted. So that personal story really helped us to really understand the journey that you went on, and it's something that we can always recall back and think of and be inspired by that. At the end, you also gave us a call to order just to remind us that no matter what challenges we do face, that we should never give up. We should always continue to strive to move forward. So in terms of what I picked up, in terms of what you might want to work on, since this is a Zoom meeting happening online, we always say that the lens is actually our audience. So we should always make sure that when we are presenting, we are looking straight at the lens. Then it shows that you're looking directly at the audience, because there were times in your speech where you were looking down. I'm not sure if you were reading something, but the minute you start looking down and not focusing on the lens, you lose that connection with the audience. So always be mindful to ensure that you're looking straight at the lens to maintain that connection with your audience. And then I also noticed that your hands were sort of moving a little bit randomly. I guess maybe that is because you were seated down. So in terms of my actual recommendation, since this project was effective body language and the fact that you were seated restricted you from you being able to use your body effectively, I would recommend that maybe you can give this speech another time when you have that opportunity for you to actually use your body effectively, which is great in a standing position. We have a meeting next week. So you have more than so many opportunities to be able to practice and do that, just to ensure that you do indeed meet the objective of the project. Other than that, well done on giving an inspirational speech, and just be mindful of the lens and make sure that you do indeed meet the objectives of the project. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Leah. And the last evaluator is me, myself, and I, Happiness Mlambo Mkwabona. I was evaluating Ritabile's speech. And Ritabile, what a beautiful speech that you've given us today. I love how you've introduced us to the pre-Toastmaster and you took us into a journey of your Toastmaster. And after that, you also reflected on how Toastmasters has helped you, has elevated you to become the person that you are today. And when it comes to your background, it was a good background. I could see you clearly. And thank you so much for standing up when you were speaking. And when it comes to vocal varieties, you showed me that when a person has failed, how they show us. So there were a lot of emotions there. And when you said that your first meeting was a disaster, I really saw disaster on how you were showing us on your, or when you were speaking. And then when you were also searching for Toastmasters Club, your gestures really showed us that you were really indeed searching. So you actually showed us a picture of how you were searching for the club. And what I also love about your speech is that with the ending of your speech, you also told us to challenge ourselves. And you also, your story was beautiful because it actually showed us that at Toastmasters is where leaders are made, because you were able to present at the end. And when you came back from maternity leave as well, you were able to present other people's speeches. So for me, that is what you excelled on. But the only two things maybe that you can work on next time when you speak is to mind the time, because you were over the time. And the second thing also, make sure that when you speak, you use a quote to make sure that you inspire your audience. But otherwise, it was a good speech. I loved your body language, and I actually love how you've added color in your speech. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
You're supposed to call the grammarian counter.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for reminding me. So I would like to call upon our grammarian to tell us how we've done with the King's language.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I'll start off with the prepared speeches. Speaker number 1, Bontle Dixon. On the R and R counterpart, she used 4 so's, 1 a, 2 a, and 3 arms. Now taking on into my grammarian hat, like Bundles evaluator said, her speech was very colorful with a lot of quotes. I will just mention 2 or expressions. I'll just mention 2. There's where she used water was poured on the little flame that she had. And then she also said it was all fun and games until something happened. But in terms of the grammar, there's where she said she seek out the opportunity, but she was using the word opportunity for the first time. So I felt like she could have said seek out an opportunity instead. Now going to Asalepile Banda, I counted 5 arms, and then I didn't pick any grammatical errors. Okay, sorry for that. Buntle didn't use the word of the day. And then Asalepile also didn't use the word of the day. Now going forward to Tapiwa Mutwening, she used the word of the day twice. And then there are many quotes that she used, one of which was a quote by Nelson Mandela where she said, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. And then she used expressions like the sky is the limit, drips of water can fill a jar. I didn't pick any or arms on her speech. Now to Matsiriso's speech, who was speaker number 4. She used an expression hit the ground running, and she used the word of the day, perspicacious once. And then I don't know, I'm not sure if this are Bible quotes, but she said, God timing is always perfect. And then we serve a miracle working God. On her, I counted 3 S, and then 3 arms. On her Sina Hamdani speech, I picked one expression where she likened her being nervous to her spirit leaving her. And then she used the word perspicacious once. I didn't pick any filler words. And then going on to Retabile Seiso, there were no or arms or any kind of filler word. The only thing that I can fault her with is the lack of use of the word of the day. Continue now to the evaluations. Benjamin used the word perspicacious once. Retabile, Leah, Tumelo, Leah again, and happiness did not use the word of the day, and they didn't have any filler words. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
It's so much. And the last person that I'd like to call on the podium is the timekeeper. Timekeeper, please present your report
Thank you,
for the
Madam.
evaluations.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I also timed the evaluators as I said before. Our evaluators are to speak for 2 to 3 minutes. Our first evaluator, Benjamin, spoke for 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Ratabile spoke for 3 minutes, 4 seconds. Leah, with her first evaluation of the PR, spoke for 3 minutes, 30 seconds. I spoke for 3 minutes, 22 seconds. Leanne, her second evaluation of Matidiso, spoke for 3 minutes, 15 seconds. And lastly, Happiness spoke for 2 minutes and 54 seconds. I gave our grammarian / our counter 6 minutes, but she spoke for 4 minutes, 21 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the Times report. I think my job is done here as an evaluator, and I'd like to call upon our Toastmaster of the evening. Back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I was doing two things at the same time. Did you give your general evaluation report?
Oh, am I supposed to give it now? I thought I was supposed to do it at the end.
No, because we're now almost at the end, so you can give it now.
Oh, okay. So different Toast Masters Club, they do it differently. So, okay. In terms of my general evaluation, I loved how the meeting started. So it started on time, 6 o'clock pronto. And when it comes to the presentation, I loved how in the setup. So there was a music playing on the background, and the Sergeant of Arms, I loved how you've presented the meeting start. And when it comes to the people who were helping, I could see that they were wearing different hats. So it was easy for the meeting to flow because all the rows were filled and most of you were wearing different hats, and big up to all of you. And when it comes to the speakers, I was mesmerized by how the speeches had those 3 E's. The speeches elevated me, and there was a lot of education on the speeches, and they were entertaining as well. And when it comes to what I've learned today on this club, I've never attended a club where there is a hack master. I always wanted to know what a hack master is all about. I just hope that I will take the lesson learned today and take it back to my club. And that was something that I've learned as well. And thank you so much for inviting me. But there was one thing that maybe can help you, because when people were speaking, I saw that the people were, I couldn't see people. It really helps people to show their faces so that the meeting can be more engaging. Otherwise, the meeting was well organized, and it's now 8 o'clock and we're about to finish. And thank you so much for the meeting. Back to you, Leah.
Thank you so much. And I'll get right into our voting results from Buntle. Woo, 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 woo. Well done, Buntle. Well done, Buntle. You are the best effort speaker of the night. And as we always say here at Gaborone Toastmasters, we always want to show appreciation for people who come to help us, who are not members of our club. So thank you so much, Benjamin, for taking up the role of evaluator. Thank you so much, Happiness, for being an evaluator and a general evaluator. Thank you so much. We'll share all of these with you. And in this meeting, I would like to recognize our new members. They just joined last week and they were here today presenting their speeches. We had Asala Pili and Buntle. So welcome to Gaborone Toastmasters. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And at this point, I'll hand over to Melo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leah. You held it down tonight, even though you wore many hats. But I'd like to just kindly request that we switch on our cameras for a group photo for our YouTube thumbnail before I close this meeting. But as usual, I see our evaluator Happiness, your hand is up. Is there a problem?
Yes, thank you so much for the recognition, but can you please correct my surname?
Okay.
Okay, please put it in the chat before I think it's, yeah, if you can just put it in the chat. I don't know how I messed it up, but yeah, if I've made a
Yes.
mistake, yeah, please do so. Then I will fix it before I send it to you.
Yes.
Oh, send it
Please
to me.
turn
Send
your
it to me
camera.
via WhatsApp. Tumelo,
Yes.
your camera is off.
It's off. Oh, I covered it. Yes, Benjamin also has his hand up. Is your name spelled
Yes.
wrong?
Thank you so much. You guys are so nice. So maybe I'll be coming more often to boost my confidence here. But I
Okay.
want to just teach you how to pronounce my surname because you were all struggling with
Okay.
it. It's not difficult. It's Akinmoyeje. Don't call it once. You're going to struggle.
Okay.
Break it into. So that is all I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Are you ready, Leah, for a group photo? Tepo, your camera is off.
Okay, so I am going to take the photo. All right. And okay, let me just take another one. Thank you so much, everyone, for pausing.
Thank you. If you're a guest, please stay around, stick around so we can talk after. But I'd like to once again thank everyone who joined us tonight. This was a lovely speakerthon. We had many speakers, but a lot of you stayed till the end of the call. I'd like to just appreciate our visiting Toastmasters, Happiness, Benjamin, for always coming to support our club. We are glad to have you. But my closing remarks go a little like this. What a night it has been. Level Up the sequel did not disappoint. We witnessed growth, courage, and transformation in action. Each of you has demonstrated what it means to keep progressing, to refine your craft, and to elevate your impact. But remember, this isn't the final chapter. The beauty of leveling up is that there's always another step to take, another skill to master, and another opportunity to seize. As you leave tonight, ask yourself, what's my next level? How will I push myself further? Thank you all for your energy, your insights, and your commitment to growth. Let's keep leveling up. One speech, one challenge, and one moment at a time. See you at the next meeting. Thank you. As for announcements, our next meeting is next week. We have meetings every week this month. So our next meeting will be in person at Lifeline Medical Center in Lidumadumani, Mogoditani. If you are in Gaborone, please join us. Those who aren't, we're having a meeting in the next 2 weeks on this very platform. Leah, I'm giving a speech, by the way, at our next meeting, if I haven't already told you. Yes, but other than that, renewals are open. Please pay for your renewals. We're self-pay enabled. If you're having any challenges, just drop me an inbox. I'll talk you through it. It's so easy. Yes. Any other announcements? Yes, we have our speech contest, our club contest on the 15th of March. We'll be at Maruapula. If you're in Gaborone, please come and join us. It's in collaboration with our sister club, Gaborone Breakfast Club. I look forward to seeing you there. Are there any questions? Unkemete, I see you're still on the call. How did you find our meeting?